So welcome back to Verna's vlog. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and the Métis homeland, and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. It's a real pleasure to be able to introduce Dr. Glynnis Lieb, who I'm meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
And Glynnis is the Executive Director for the Fyrefly Institute for Gender and Sexual Diversity. Mm-hmm. So welcome, Glynnis.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I want to talk to Glynnis a bit about Pride Week, but maybe before we get to that, tell me a little bit about yourself and the type of work that you do.
Sure. So I'm a social psychologist by trade, and I've worked in mental health and addiction my whole life. This is my second go around at the U of A with a different institute this time. I came here at the end of grad school first, and I was working at a not-for-profit in the Faculty of Law. And then as the Fyrefly Institute, formerly known as ISMIS, the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services, grew into an institute, the faculty created an executive director position. And I thought, this is perfect. My social activism started with 2S LGBTQ movement in Winnipeg while I was in university, and I saw the opportunity to do what I loved and marry it with academic work plus direct social service provision, and here I am. And so it's been wonderful 5 years almost. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what's the meaning behind Fyrefly, and why did you need to do a bit of rebranding from the previous name?
Mm-hmm. Great question. The Institute started as Camp Fyrefly almost 20 years ago. And the idea behind Fyrefly is because fireflies, of course, create their own light. And the creators at the time wanted to emphasize that for 2S LGBTQ youth. But we inserted the Y into Fyrefly for youth, and so it's F-Y-R-E, and hence the spelling. And Camp, our flagship program, Camp Fyrefly, continues to this day across the country. But as time grew and more programs were added and our work expanded, it grew into the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services, which was the language at the time, 17 years ago. And what we found in the last 5 years, particularly as we have moved and tried to adapt through realizing the necessity of working together in a true sense of the word with other community services and people in the community, we decided we needed to really emphasize that we were doing things a bit differently now. We'd heard that from our stakeholders, but also we needed to get rid of the dated language. And so we did a stakeholder consultation and did a lot of work with key members of the community to decide what name fit, and everybody knows Camp Fyrefly. We thought it best to be consistent. Yeah.
Well, I definitely heard of Camp Fyrefly because I didn't make the connection, but I love the comment of creating your own light. I mean, how inspirational is that? Yeah. So we're here to talk about Pride Week, and the U of A Pride Week is occurring at a different time than it is traditionally. So tell us a bit about Pride Week in March.
Yeah, we have over the past probably 4 years or so, we've worked again to really increase the participation in Pride Week and increase representation from folk across faculties who have been sometimes very quietly doing a lot in their faculty to advocate for the 2S LGBTQ community. And so we've built this incredible group of representatives from across the university now. And through our learnings over the past couple of years of when there are key dates for people and when students really need some pick-me-up as well, as we're getting kind of near the end and everybody's buckling down for exams and it's stressful and people are tired. And that we thought that these dates in March worked well for the groups we were part of. There weren't conflicts, but also were what university students need at the end of a long winter and moving into exams, and particularly our community for whom there are a lot of added stressors. And so it's worked. We've moved it into March before. It's been a combined, a lot of online activities over the last couple of years, of course. So we're really excited this year to move back into full force in person, although we're keeping some of the online aspects because we recognize that does make it more accessible for some folk.
So it's on March 13th to 17th. I think that's
the whole week, yeah.
And so can you just share with us some potential activities that people might be interested in?
Absolutely. Everybody who's represented on the committee gets to pick an activity that they want to organize. So we get a whole bunch of variety from across the faculties and departments. And so we will have our parade around campus again, which is always a highlight, and some other social activities as well. We're going to have some gender-inclusive sporting and athletic activities going on. We are bringing in a number of speakers to talk about different aspects impacting the community from different lenses too, and that depending on the faculty that's bringing them in. And that too, we always get a great variety. And then lots of opportunity for social interaction as well, and social activities. So it's a little bit of something for everybody. We try to include faculty, staff, and students in our activities, and so there's something that speaks to everyone.
Well, let's just hope the weather is nice so that at the parade people can do so without having to bundle up, right?
Yeah, we've had a few frozen university presidents in the past.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll warn Bill about that one.
Speaking and that too. But we're optimistic this year. But I think it's so great to be able to see people again. We can withstand a few minutes of inclement weather if we must.
Well, isn't that great? And so I'm assuming that as time gets closer, there'll be a lot of information available to everybody.
Yes, and you can certainly go to our website, the Fyrefly Institute, to the homepage, and find information there too. We will be communicating out through the newsletters, of course, on campus, and our representatives from various faculties and departments will be communicating as well. So you should be hearing a lot about it in the next month, and I'm very excited. I hope that we do something that talks or speaks to a lot of people.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Glynnis, for being with us today and for sharing this information, and we look forward to a fun week in March at least.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you for all you do. It's great to have you on campus.
Wonderful. Thank you.